Awesome. We are streaming. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our latest in our conversation series. So this evening, I'm very excited because I have Katherine Lanteigne joining me from Women in Business New Brunswick. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Amanda Devison, and I am the Vice President of Business and Professional Women of Greater Moncton. At BPW Moncton, we work to help women connect, learn, grow, and advocate. And so this conversation is really all about that, to get out there and provide you guys with as much information and advice as possible, especially in this unique time we're all situated in. So we keep seeing over and over again how much this pandemic is disproportionately impacting women and small business. So women with small businesses are, the impact is just unimaginable. So I thought it was extremely important that we bring on Katherine to talk about the different programs and services offered through Women in Business New Brunswick, because I personally am super excited to hear about what she has to say, because I know they offer a lot of things and I don't even know, probably scratch the surface of it. So you guys cover a lot of scope, and I think you'll provide some great advice for our audience out there, and hopefully people will kind of draw a lot from it. So before I kind of hang things over to her, I will do an introduction. I'll give you guys her bio. Also, I want to remind you guys to please post any questions you have in the comments, or any comments you have in general about the presentation. I'll keep an eye on those. And if we don't get to them tonight, I'll make sure Katherine gets them so she can give you a response later on if you're someone watching the replay, for example. So without further ado, Katherine Lanteigne is the Director of Women in Business New Brunswick. With an impressive background in management, economic development, entrepreneurship, and community involvement, Katherine looks forward to representing and connecting others to advance women in business throughout the province. Katherine obtained a Bachelor's of Business Administration with a concentration in marketing, a Master's of Business Administration, and a Master's in Human Resource from Université de Poitiers in France.
Yes.
She put this knowledge into practice as marketing and communications coordinator with the Bathurst Regional Airport. A skilled communicator and media relations expert, she implemented marketing and communication strategies, as well as enhanced business development in this key infrastructure. In 2017, along with her husband and business partner, this entrepreneur launched her passion project, O Bootlegger, a vibrant establishment dedicated to serving the region's largest assortment of craft beers right in the heart of downtown Bathurst. In a short time, they've developed a loyal patronage and currently employ a dedicated staff of 8 employees. More recently, in 2019, they created and opened a cafe by the name of Caffeine in the heart of downtown Bathurst. More than 11 jobs have resulted from this new business. The opening of this cafe has contributed to the revitalization of the city and the economic development of northeastern New Brunswick. Through her employment or civic involvement, Katherine finds it gratifying to make a difference in her community. She's co-founder of Synergies Chaleur, a nonprofit youth organization with the purpose to regroup youth in the Chaleur region. Katherine enjoys world travel and seeking new experiences. So my apologies for the French. I am not French, so some of those words are not, they were chiac at best.
You did great.
I also think it's very cool that not only are you the Director of Women in Business New Brunswick, but you're also an entrepreneur. So not only are you talking the talk, but you're walking the walk. So if there's anybody that should be delivering these messages, it's definitely you. So I'm going to toss things over to you so you can kind of walk us through your presentation. I'll mute myself so there's no background noise, and I'll keep an eye on any questions or comments, and we'll reconnect towards the end.
Perfect. And if you yourself have any question or want to interact, don't hesitate. Like, it's not just a one-way street. If there's, I'll probably pick your brain at some point as well. So I'm going to share my screen now. Just let me know if you can see. Oh, just a second. Okay. I'm just trying to see, just to make sure that I still want to have my notes as well. So I'm cheating a little bit because I do have some notes.
To be able to see your notes and do the presentation.
Yes. So here it is. I just want to make sure. Okay. Can you see this? So you just see one screen?
Yes, I just see your Women in Business New Brunswick logo.
A1. I just want to make sure that I have the right presentation here.
Awesome.
So thank you, Amanda, for welcoming me. I'm really excited to be here and just explain more about what we do at Women in Business New Brunswick. And just to ease you guys in, we're going to start with some good old statistics on Tuesday night. But I found it was interesting just to give you like a little bit of overview and why why there is a need for an organization such as ours, because we do get comments sometimes from people saying, well, why do you only focus on women? Why is it not just men and women? Because there's a lot of statistic speaks, and there are a lot of barriers that women entrepreneurs face, and we hear them all the time. So I'll just start with a few facts about Canadian women entrepreneurs. So in Canada, there's 85% of women that shows interest in starting a business. So that's very good. There's also women business owners have on average fewer years of management experience than men, but they are highly educated. Large majority have a college or university degree. They are strongly inclined to favor retail and the service sector. So probably you can attest to that as working at in the bank industry. We have clients from various sectors, but we really have three major sectors. So it's the food industry, we have retail, and the service industry. So for example, consultants, estheticians, which were all very highly impacted by COVID. If you're talking about food industry, retail, service, so it's proximity, they were all greatly affected by COVID. Everybody, all the entrepreneurs were, but these three sectors were particularly touched by COVID. They will earn 58% less than men during the startup phase. They tend to not incorporate and operate alone. So when we're saying 58% less, I don't know if you, Amanda, heard that before as well, but we see this all the time. Women tend to undervalue their products or services. And I hear a lot, women, when they're starting their business, they're saying, well, I don't want to charge full price for my service or product. I will increase when I have a solid clientele, for example. So
I knew they
that,
earned less. I didn't know it was that much less. Like
yeah,
that's dramatic.
yes. And we see that a lot. So in terms of exports, women business owners are on average less likely to participate in international trade than their male counterparts. So you'll see later on in my presentation what we're doing to help that, not help, but help women to export more. So we have we have hired a development officer for export and international trade. Claire, she's actually located in Dieppe, so not too far from you. And so we make sure that we provide some training and guidance as well. So up to 70% of businesses started by women were started at home. And the two major challenges facing women operating at a home base is one, distractions by family, friends, and household tasks. So we're all working, majority of us are all working from home, so we can really relate to that. Number two, lack of dedicated space for their business. The top two major barriers experienced by women in starting or operating a business are difficulties in obtaining financing and disproportionate responsibility for family responsibilities. Then most surveys shows that women tend to use their personal savings to fund new ventures, followed by loans from banks or other financial institutions. So that is something else that we see as well. A lot of women that are saying that they want to start their business, they save all of their money. Some of them don't want to go for loans. And when they start their project, at some point, everybody that is an entrepreneur can attest that you have a plan when you start a business, but you always have surprises, whether it's in renovation, whether there's always something that comes up. And if they all use of their personal funds to start a business, then they're kind of painting themselves in a corner, because when they're looking for a loan afterwards, well, all of their economies or everything that they put aside, it's all used for the business. So I'm not sure if you have seen that as well, Amanda. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we do tend to see that a lot. Like even
Yeah.
when there's programs set up to help women finance their businesses, they don't necessarily have the same uptake as businesses started by men.
Yep.
There's probably a few things like that contribute to that. One is probably most women are more risk averse than men, and they probably
Mhm.
see um, the risk of taking on, a loan from a financial institution. Um, so I think that probably contributes to it a bit. Also, probably to the fact that they don't tend to incorporate.
Yeah.
That means these loans they'd have to take out are personal. So if they have any other lending, such as a car loan or a mortgage or anything like
Hmm.
that,
Liabilities. Yeah.
their debt service ratio is probably pretty high already, which would make even the loans they could apply for probably much smaller than if it was the business itself applying for a loan.
Absolutely. And when they don't incorporate, they don't have access to a lot of programs that exist as well with
Yes.
the government or a lot of organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So about 25% of self-employed women were born outside of Canada. And among employed women, immigrant women have slightly greater tendency than Canadian-born women towards self-employment. So to closer to home is Atlantic women business owners. So I have put like a little slide here, and it tells us how many women business owned businesses in Atlantic Canada. So more specifically, there is 23,000 businesses owned by women in Nova Scotia, 7,700 in Newfoundland, 3,600 in Prince Edward Island, and in New Brunswick, we have 15,800 women entrepreneurs, of which 72% are solo entrepreneurs. So it is a big trend. So women that start business, a big majority are solo entrepreneurs. And just for people that are listening, if we have women from Atlantic Canada, yes, we are Women in Business New Brunswick, but there's also equivalent organizations in your province. So for Newfoundland, there's NLO, so it stands for Newfoundland and Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs. In Nova Scotia, there is a Center for Women in Business, and in PEI, they have PIBWA, which is the PEI Business Women's Organization. So just in case your reach is out beyond New Brunswick, I just wanted to throw it out there. So who are we exactly? So we are a nonprofit organization. We've been in operation since 2002, and we have an advisory committee. We help women in both rural and urban areas. So wherever you are in New Brunswick, whether you're in Miscou, in Moncton, or St. Stephen, you are in our reach, and we have specialized bilingual resources. So all our employees are bilingual, and we provide business advice in specific fields of expertise or in business life cycles. So for example, we have a development officer for startup, one in growth and expansion, one in export and international trade. And last year we hired Natasha, our Indigenous women entrepreneur development officer. So I thought of putting our vision and mission. So vision, women leading businesses are forming a proactive, empowered, and vibrant community, strengthening the economy of New Brunswick. And our mission is Women in Business New Brunswick is assisting current and inspired women entrepreneurs in reaching their full potential as business owners by delivering quality, innovative, and inclusive counseling and services. So you have a quick picture of our board. So I just put their names and their role as well and the region that they represent. So I think there's somebody that you know well that is part of
Yes, France
BPW.
is
So
on
there's,
there.
yes, so France is one of our advisory committee members. We also have Janice Gauguin that is from the Moncton area. And we have Angèle Miller that is from Cocagne. And of course, we have Jocelyne Landry. She's from Charlotte. Then we have Beth Crowell from Fredericton and Jenna McDonald from Bathurst and Elizabeth Eldridge from St. George. And they are all women entrepreneurs.
That's very cool.
And here's our team. So I am very lucky to be surrounded by caring, and really intelligent women. Like I have the best team, honestly. Like, so we have here on the screen, there's also a next slide as well. So we have Jenna Allen, and she is our development officer for startups. And so even before COVID, we were already online. So we are spread out throughout New Brunswick. So we were already having weekly Zoom meetings. We were already trying to get our clients to meet with us on Zoom. So that was a challenge. But because of COVID, it kind of accelerated the process. So for us, it was, we were already equipped. So Jenna's physical office is in Campbellton, but she was already helping women from Moncton, Riverview, Dieppe, all around your region as well. And then we have Audrey Poitras. She is our development officer for growth and expansion. She is located in Grand Falls, but she specializes for everything that has to do with growth and expansion. So it's quite a wide uh, subject, if you want, or life cycle to take care of. And then we have Claire Festillon, our development officer for export and international trade. She is located in Dieppe. And then we have Isabelle Arsenault, our project coordinator for the Atlantic Canadian Women in Growth Partnership. So that is a project that we have launched about a year ago, a year and a half ago. And it's a partnership between all of the Atlantic provinces. So between all of the organizations that I've named earlier from Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland, we have a really close collaboration. So we work on a lot of common projects. And then we have Natasha Martin Mitchell, which is our development officer for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. So as I was mentioning, women already face many barriers, many challenges. And for Indigenous women entrepreneur, you just add more layers of challenge. And so that's why we thought it was very important to hire a development officer specifically for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. So that way we hired her in February of 2020. So just before COVID hit, but basically she's been reaching out to all the economic development officers from all the First Nation communities. She's working closely with JEDI, which is the Joint Economic Development Initiative that helps Indigenous entrepreneurs. So we're really happy to have Natasha on board, and there's me. So there's a lot of text. I'm not planning to read that, but that's basically all the trainings that we have either already had or will have by the end, like from now until the end of March. So we were very, very busy. And if you look like, just for example, startup, and that's not all the trainings. Like if you're looking at pricing, knowing your cost per unit and finding your price point, there was 2 cohorts. So that was in fact like 4 trainings because it's a series of 2. We have a lot of training. That's just for startup. And then we have trainings for growth and expansion and export and international trade. So online export seminars. We have really interesting trainings as well on supplier diversity. There's also information on support organization for exporters. If you're looking to export your products to the USA, a lot of our clients that are exporting are either in cosmetic or in food. We do have others as well, but a lot of interest for if you're looking here, like exporting food and beverage, preparing your brand for the exportation. So there's a lot of things to take in consideration. So that's why we provide a lot of trainings. And for Indigenous women entrepreneurs as well, pricing your products or service. And that's something that we had mentioned in the statistic that women tend to underprice or undervalue their product. And that's something that we're trying to make sure that women know how to price their products or service and take in consideration the time they're putting in, all the product that they're making from it as well. So I'm going to go with our programs, and Amanda, if there's if you have any questions or anybody on Facebook, do not hesitate. I'm going to go through it. I'm just going to, I put a lot of image, so it's easier to present, but I'll go with the first one, which is the our consultant advisory services. So every year we have a program that's called CAUSE, but it's you're probably going to hear me at some point say CAUSE, but it's Consultant Advisory Services, which gives the opportunities to women business owners to have access to a consultant to help them in their business. And we cover 75% of the cost of that consultant. So the entrepreneur only have to pay 25%. But, and the criteria is that she has to be, the entrepreneur has to be New Brunswick and own 51% of the business. And during the pandemic, we have helped the New Brunswick Association of CBDCs to react quickly with this program and adapt the consultant advisory service to, we kind of condensed it, and it's to give entrepreneurs a free 2-hour one-on-one consultation with a consultant in the following. So you have like the different categories. So either in cash flow management, HR, adapting to new technologies, and adapting to the market. And in total, we had approximately 44 applications and that we received and processed. We also have the inspiration series. So it's an inspirational event for women entrepreneurs and inspiring women entrepreneurs, or anyone really that's interested in learning more about phenomenal women entrepreneurs. The one that you see here, so we had a few throughout the year. So I know my posters may say like September 3rd, but we do have some throughout the year. And it just happened that I picked that one to put on my PowerPoint. But that was Manon Pilon from Quebec, the left-hand poster. So she started as a beautician, I have a hard time saying esthetician, and she is now an entrepreneur, and she started her cosmetic line and has a company with 120 employees. So it was very interesting to have her and come and talk about her experience and her business. We have another one that's coming up, so March 9th. So for those that are interested, we will have women's market and global trade expert Suzanne Baca that will present a webinar called From First Dance to the Global Stage, How to Build Strategic Alliance Across Borders. So it's a perfect topic that we thought to celebrate International Women's Day. So International Women's Day is going to be on the March 8th, but we're going to stretch it and we're going to make it a week for us. I think we have so many great women to celebrate that we decided let's do a few days.
At the very least, we deserve a week.
Exactly, the very least. So she will share helpful tips on where to start to create strategic alliance, what to avoid, and the must-dos to ensure successful relationship building that can lead to business deals. And we also have our coffee breaks. So when you have a business or thinking to start a business, networking is very important and essential. And you guys know, like, especially you guys, Greater Moncton is really lucky to have an organization such as yours. So I think you guys, pre-pandemic, you had a lot of networking opportunities. And so
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is very important. Yeah.
Do you guys still do? I think I saw before Christmas you had an online one, right?
Yeah,
like
so we still do our monthly meetings virtually, given the circumstances. It's still like it's different, obviously. Yeah. We're used to getting together and chit-chatting and having a glass of wine, and there's an hour networking before the actual meeting starts. And so, you know, that we still have a little bit of that online, but it's still quite obviously different. You know, anyone that's been in a Zoom with multiple people talking over each other, it can be kind of come of a whole thing. But I think we're going to be looking to do that again soon, a virtual networking, and we'll break people out into virtual rooms to kind of get to know each other. So it's not all just, because we recognize the importance of it. A lot of people have made great connections, and really most of the feedback from our members is about the connection and the networking that they get to do at BPW. So it's really cool to see that you have these kind of things for women entrepreneurs too, because I'm sure there's very specific things that they would perhaps want to talk about. And
Yes. So we do have them once a month. Well, actually, it's twice a month because we have the English version followed by the French version just afterwards. And like you were mentioning, like I think BPW does a great job, and the Greater Moncton area is lucky to have organization. But it's not all the regions in New Brunswick that have the chance to have a networking group, or it might be too small. Like I'm just thinking I'm located in Bathurst, and we don't necessarily have a networking group just for women entrepreneurs. So when we decide to create this specific virtual discussion networking groups is to make it accessible to everybody, because a lot of women had to get in their car, drive an hour to get to a networking event. So that's why we decided to have something every month, and they can pick and choose which language they want to network in. So we have them. The next one is actually tomorrow. So if there's anybody watching us tonight, and they can just register through our either our Facebook page or on our website. But tomorrow in English, it is from 10 to 11. And for French, the French version is from 12 to 1 o'clock. And basically it's a networking. It's we have the main room, but then like you were mentioning, we are breaking out in breakout room depending on how many people we do have attending the event. So that way everybody has a chance to exchange, and we have questions so that way people can interact. So, but so far in this year, since COVID hit, we had 20 sessions, 10 in English and 10 in French, and we had over 180 participants.
wow,
And
that's
really,
awesome.
so we have people from Caraquet, from St. John, from Moncton. Doesn't like we do have a big variety. So that way, if you're looking to make connection outside of your region, you're more than welcome. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything. If you want to join, you're more than welcome. And you make connection, and you network, and you meet new people.
Cool. Yeah. So they just go to Eventbrite if they want to register.
Yep. And you can find all the information that I'm talking about today. All our programs are all on our website. So it's just womeninbusinessnb.ca.
Awesome.
You just type that on Google, or you can find us hopefully quite easily. So, and the next slide is our new Women in Business New Brunswick online Mawiomis. So Mawiomi means gathering in Mi'kmaq. And it's essentially the networking session, but for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. And we are having one this Thursday. So what date are we? So on the 28th, so January 28th, we are having the next Mawiomi. We already have, so any Indigenous women entrepreneurs that are watching this Facebook Live, you're more than welcome to join us. All the information, like I was mentioning, is on our website. But so far we had 3 since the beginning of COVID. And that's something that we're also, that we were pushed to do because of COVID. And so it's kind of making us pivot as well. Like all the entrepreneurs, we were trying to find ways to reach entrepreneurs. So this is a great opportunity for women entrepreneurs to link them to all the First Nation communities as well. The next program that we have here, earlier I was talking about export and how women business owners are less likely to participate in international trade than their male counterparts. So something that Women in Business New Brunswick did is that we started a peer-to-peer program. So it's a twinning program that matches women entrepreneurs from New Brunswick with women entrepreneurs from other countries. And more specifically, if you're looking at the right logo, so it's I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It is a women's organization group from Germany. And so, and also we have another partnership with France. So it's a regroupment of Grand Châtellerault, Grand Poitiers, la région de la Vienne. So it is a French pairing for this one, and the German one is more Anglophones. And so basically it's a program that includes at least one 60-minute meeting per month, during which the twins get to exchange best practices, the market industry information, cultural differences, and local function and how it works in their country. And really what we want to do is just, even if you're not looking to export any product or service, there's a lot of sharing of best practices that happen. So we do have women that are interested in exporting in those countries, but also we have women entrepreneurs that participate that are just looking to exchange with another entrepreneur in the same sector. Because sometimes, like, the feedback that we were getting is that they don't want to be paired with somebody from New Brunswick because they can see each other as competition. So that way, if they're paired with somebody in another country, they don't have necessarily the same clients. So they feel more at ease to exchange and tell all of their challenges and all of their success. I'm trying to see what else. So the partnership with Germany was launched on last May, and we had 29 participants from both, like altogether 29 participants from both countries. And for the partnership with France, we had officially, we launched it in not too long ago, so November 20th, and we had initially 27 participants altogether, the two countries, and 12 entrepreneurs were from New Brunswick in 11 different sectors. So we make sure that we pair them, and sometimes it could be a group of 2, or it could be a team of 3 or 4. So it all depends. If you have a lot of people in the same sector, we tend to pair them all together so they can have a richer exchange. So that's another program here that we have officially signed in collaboration with the CCNB. So it is called W Power. It's an international project. So basically what it does is it's a project that supports women entrepreneurs in sparsely populated area across northern and Arctic communities. And they encourage them to start their business, grow their business. So it's very interesting. The lead partner in this project is the Karelia University of Applied Sciences, and they're located in Finland. And there's a lot of project partners that are located. So you have northern Sweden, eastern and northern Finland, Iceland, west coast of Ireland, Scotland, and the Shetland Islands. And you have us in New Brunswick. So we're this small province on the East Coast, and we're playing with all of these different countries. And when I was reading about the projects, I was like, okay, somebody suggested that we should, our president, so Justin, had mentioned that we should maybe look at different project that's happening in the world. So when this project landed on my desk, I started reading, and I was like, okay, I was reading about different organizations. So basically it's women's organization that have the same role and mandate that we, just like ours, that are partnering with post-secondary education institution. And their goal is to help women entrepreneurs in rural areas that were facing challenges such as aging population. You had migration of population in bigger centers, youth exodus. They're far from big centers. They have challenge in hiring qualified employees, and they all have snow. So it's exactly what we're living and what we're hearing from women entrepreneurs. So when I was reading all of that, I was like, we want to be in. We want to learn from them. We want to share, because what they were looking to do is to develop tools to help these women. So it was really interesting. And so basically, it's a transnational exchange program between women entrepreneurs in sparsely populated areas. So as much as we don't like to admit it, Whether even if we're in the big cities, Moncton, Fredericton, and St. John, we're still small communities compared to Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver. And we also have, so we have launched also this year a startup competition. So that was completely new to us. And it was our first startup competition. It happened on November 30th, but we had the application period in September. And we had training twice a week for 4 weeks. So all of the participants, at first we were expecting to have at least 15 participants. That was our goal. And to our surprise, we had 34 participants. When we launched this, we were not expecting to have this much interest. And actually, I was doing an interview with a media from Moncton, and we were just launching the initiative, and she was mentioning, well, we're mid-pandemic. Who's gonna apply? Who wants to start a business? I said, well, we don't know. We're gonna see. We're still having some interest from women entrepreneurs, and so we decided to go ahead anyway, pandemic or no pandemic. And like I was mentioning, I think it's making people think all of this pandemic and challenging time. I think people are looking to start their business. So 34 participants. So we had to create like 2 cohorts. So Jenna, our development officer, was quite busy in trying to divide and find more training time, because we decided to retain everybody. We wanted to cut to 15. At first, we wanted 15 participants. So we said, we're just going to take everybody. And we will have another edition this in 2021 as well. So for anybody that's looking to start their business, we will have that competition probably again in November. So the other initiative that we have, actually, it's the Atlantic Women Business Series. And we just had one today, actually. And so what it is a discussion panel with women entrepreneurs in underrepresented groups. So we had one, I think that was our first, the poster, yeah, in July. So that was women leading in the way in trades. We also had one with women Indigenous, and that is the common project that was talking earlier with all of the Atlantic women's organization throughout Atlantic Canada. So we had one for trades, one for Indigenous women entrepreneurs, one for women in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we had one today at 12 with newcomers. Then our next program was also, and I just noticed that it's in French only, this one, but it's Moving Women Online. So it's basically, it was a pilot project, and we were funding the creation of a website for women entrepreneurs, so they were able to sell their products online. And we had a total of 13 participants, and we were able to really develop their website, train them, giving them a lot of training on how to sell online, how to ship, how to take good pictures as well, and learning how to use the tool.
I think that's really important, because
yeah.
Even post-pandemic, well, post the launch of COVID, current pandemic atmosphere, something like a third of Canadian businesses still don't have a website or an online presence. It's kind of crazy. The number was bigger pre-COVID, and then obviously when COVID happened, a lot of people rushed to kind of get some sort of online presence because they needed that to sustain their business. But I just wanted to kind of stress the importance to people out there that if you do have a business and you don't yet have a website, that you really need to consider investing the time and energy into that, and perhaps contacting Women in Business New Brunswick and finding out what programs are available or what resources are out there. You don't have to do it yourself. Like, no one's saying you need to learn coding and all that stuff, but you really should. People can't find you if they don't know you exist. And most people, if you think about your own personal habits, you go to Google, right? If you don't know the answer to something, you type into Google. And if people type in whatever your product is, Moncton, and you don't show up in the results, there's no way they're going to call you to buy your product. So it's just another way. So I just wanted to kind of stress again the importance of having a digital presence and a website. So that's good to see you guys have that program.
Yes. So like I was mentioning, it was a pilot project. So it was launched in July because we're really trying to to do something quick to help as much people as we could. And we had like a first wave of participants, and I think we inspired some organization. I can't say more, but there will be a program that will be launched
You'll
for
tell us later
websites.
though when it does launch,
Yes,
right? So that we can share the
absolutely.
info.
Absolutely.
Awesome. You tell us and we'll share it on our Facebook page so that our membership and our audience knows it exists once it's official.
Exactly. And like you were mentioning, I think now more than ever, you have to be online because that's where everything is happening. People don't know what they don't know, and if they don't see you, then you don't exist. So that was a great pilot project, and I think, and we were, like you were mentioning, pre-COVID, there was a lot of people not that were not online, and we were hearing that. And now with COVID, it's just stressing even more that you have to be online. And talking about online, we launched that it's quite a tongue twister. We launched a website that's called Nujintuiska Tijig Ipijig. So it means, and I didn't even put in my cheat sheets here, but it means women vendor in Mi'kmaq. So it was launched by our development officer for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. And basically what it is an online platform for Indigenous women entrepreneurs. So it's a one-stop shop for all, for crafts, for clothing, for any products that's made in New Brunswick by Indigenous women entrepreneurs.
I've
So
been
right,
on this website. It's very, very
yes,
cool.
okay.
I encourage everybody to check it out. There's some amazing stuff on there. And I think it's a very cool initiative. Like it's unique and there's some amazing stuff on there. So like kudos to you guys for taking that on because again, it exposed me to a variety of artists and women entrepreneurs I wouldn't have seen otherwise. So everybody watching, I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. It's really neat.
It is, and so we launched it strategically before Christmas because we were trying to launch it as soon as we could. So when I'm saying strategically, yes and no, because we were trying to get it off as soon as we could, but it was just to gather all of um, the biographies and all the products, and also making sure that the website was developed. So this is phase one of the project. So what we're looking to do is add the other provinces as well of Atlantic Canada. So we were kind of the pilot project. We said like, let's try it. We want to do something as soon as we can to help Indigenous women entrepreneurs, because what happened is that with COVID, they used to tour all of the powwow, not all of the powwows, but sell a majority of their products during the powwows. And there's a lot of First Nation communities in New Brunswick, and with COVID canceling all of the powwows, they had no more revenues coming in. So we were trying to launch it before summer, but we never made it there. It took, when you have a plan, it doesn't really necessarily means it's going to happen, but we launched as soon as we could before we were able to gather all the information, train as well the entrepreneurs, because we want to make sure that they are able to provide as well for the demand, because they did get, the first 2 weeks we had 48,000 views.
Wow.
And they had orders from the United States, from Vancouver, from like all over Canada. So it was a really good success. We were not expecting that. We said like, let's launch it. We just really wanted to get it going before Christmas so they were able to generate some revenues. And we're still working on that website right now. We do have 22 women on that website, and we still have room for more as well.
I think, and there's a link from the Women in Business New Brunswick website to this.
Yes,
Yes, yeah. Because
exactly. So
instead of anybody trying to type this into the search bar might be having some trouble, but if you go to Women in Business NB, you can find a link there. I think I saw it on Huddle News. I think they
yes,
did a story, and that's where I saw it, and the link was in there. So, but yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited to see it grow too, especially if you're going to add the rest of Atlantic to it, I think it could really be something incredible.
Yep. And I'm really glad that actually you went on it. So that's good. I'm really happy to hear that. And so that was one of our project for this year. And like I was mentioning, again, it comes up again, the consultant advisory services. So at some point, as soon as COVID hit, we kind of pivot, and we were able to have some funds from ACOA so that the consultant advisory funds were funded 100%. So I was mentioning earlier that we do have the consultant advisory services that we cover 75% of the cost, and the entrepreneur usually cover 25%. But in this case, for that period of time, we were able to cover 100% of the cost to have access to a consultant to help women entrepreneurs in their business. Unfortunately, the funds have now all been used. We had a lot of demand, a lot of interest for that program. But I think what I can mention tonight, if for people looking at this right now, is that just follow us on our social media or go on our website. We always have different programs, and sometimes it may be for a certain period of time, but it may come again, or it all depends on funds. Like I was mentioning, we're a nonprofit organization, so sometimes we do have access to different funds, and when the program is passed, we might be having it again or another kind of program. So that's why I wanted to put it in there as well. So upcoming events, I'm looking at the time. I want to make sure we still have room for questions, but shameless plug, I'm just going to talk about quickly our upcoming events because it could be of interest to your membership. And these are all free of charge. So it's free to participate. We have something that starts tomorrow, which is Women Entrepreneurship 101. So it's for anybody that's looking to start their business. And then we have Build Your Brand and Protected. So it's a training on intellectual property. So trademark, copyrights, patents. So if you want to protect your brand, that is really something that you should be attending. So that's going to be on February 3rd. And then we have Indigenous Financial Literacy Workshop. So it's an interactive workshop that will explore your relationship with money and the impact of history on financial literacy. How to best grow your business. So that will be presented by Nicole Cousineau, so a financial leader for over 15 years, experienced entrepreneur, as well as leading various functions in finance and information technology for both small to medium business and for startups as well. And get ready to export. So learn what goes into an export strategy and how to start creating yours. So that will be on March 18 and 19. And that's it. That's all I had to present to you tonight. I would have more, but I wanted to make sure I was under 1 hour. So thank you, and I'm open for any questions.
Awesome. So this was great.
Oops, I'm going to stop sharing here.
Awesome. Yeah, so that was amazing. There was like tons of information. That's why I was very excited I was very excited to have you come on, because I knew there was just so much information out there. Like the BPW Instagram page follows your Instagram page. I tend to try to share a lot of your events in our stories just to kind of allow people to understand, like, there's some amazing resources and opportunities out there. And I want to empower women in their businesses as much as possible. So I know you mentioned that a lot of the programming can be dependent on funding. So do you find, though, are there certain ones that you tend to get reoccurring funding for? And if so, do they happen once a year, or can they happen more than once a year? Like, is there a frequency? So for the menu of stuff you showed us before for startup and growth and export, if people missed the opportunities before, what is the likelihood of them catching it again?
So it all has to do with supply and demand. So if we do have a lot of interest for the website, for example, like creating the website, that was something that we knew that was lacking, and we kept hearing from women entrepreneurs. So I think we were the pilot, it was a pilot program,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a lot of interest from it. So I think they're going to make it to a larger scale. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be just women entrepreneurs for that program. So like I mentioned, I think it all has to do with supply and demand. If there's a lot of demand for specific trainings, well, we'll make sure that it reoccurs as well. So
So basically, if there's women out there that were watching and they're interested in some of the programs, they should probably
yeah.
reach out to you guys and find out, is
Mm-hmm.
it already on slate? And if not, they can at least express their interest, because if enough people start expressing their interest for a certain program, you guys will work towards making it happen, basically.
Exactly. Yes. And another example would be the peer-to-peer um, mentorship that happens with Germany. So it was a really good success. And I said, okay, well, we decided, okay, let's do another one with France. And then now we're starting to have a lot of interest again for people. So we're slowly building a list of, okay, well, we have so and so, and then we're starting our list to say, okay, well, they are interested in this market, or
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to see of how, let's say everybody is interested in France, well, we're going to have a second cohort. If there's a lot of
Right.
people interested with Asia, well, we will look at what we can do and try to develop some partnerships in
Partners
Asia.
there.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of pricing, I know you said something like some of the programs you showed are free, which is extremely cool, because a lot, like, some of them are 5-week programs and all kinds of things. People can really get some really amazing value for no money, but some of them do, I understand, cost money, correct? Like some of the programs that you run?
No,
Oh.
actually, no. So
That
so
was my
no,
misconception. I thought some of them had fees, but wow, okay. Well,
we
that's even
used to
better.
pre-COVID. We used to pre-COVID, like some trainings um did cost something, but with COVID, we did an exception, and we're trying our best to really cover for all of the costs, or go get some. And when I'm saying covering all of the costs, is going to get some funds through the government of New Brunswick, through ACOA, through LearnSphere. So a lot of good partnerships, so that we're
Mm-hmm.
able to afford some great consultants or expert in their fields to come and train these women. Because when I'm saying training, yes, our development officers are providing some one-on-one counseling. um, that is something that we pride ourselves into, but we also have our trainings. We try to make sure that we get some of the best, to make sure that
Yes,
we
yeah.
are able to provide some good quality trainings. But
That's
for now,
amazing.
yeah,
So like
so we were
that's
able to squeeze a lot of funds, and women don't have to pay
so
for now.
everybody
For
out
now.
there, take advantage. Exactly.
Yes,
While it's happening and while the
exactly.
funds are flowing from the different agencies, because again, there's a lot of money being injected in different things, but eventually that will stop. So take advantage now. If there's things you want to know about, if the things you're curious about, definitely check it out. Um, Another thing I wanted to mention from a banking perspective is, like, I can speak to the fact that in general,
Mhm.
companies that export are more profitable than companies that don't. And it's a known fact that a lot, like a huge majority of Canadian businesses don't export.
No.
It's crazy. I think we're in the 90 some 95%. Like, it's a very shocking number of Canadian companies that don't export. And then the ones that do export, so that small, say 5%, the majority of them only export to America.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily explore other markets. So I think at this point in time, given COVID and given the fact that a lot of people are probably realizing the economy in general is going to take some time to kind of get back to firing on all cylinders. It's going to vary depending on different industries. But if there was ever a time to explore the opportunity of exporting and
Absolutely.
expanding your consumer
Hmm.
base, now is the time. And there's plenty of resources out there through you guys um, that can equip women to explore this. They don't have to do it on their own. They don't have to throw a dart at a map and say, well, let's try this country. Like, you guys have lots of data that can, and like the partnerships too, right? The twinning and
Yes.
things like that. Like, this can be done in a calculated lower risk way than just spinning a wheel and picking a country and starting to fire product out. Like there can be a way to do this. And that can really
Absolutely.
help people, because at the end of the day, if you're only selling to the Moncton area, if you're only selling to New Brunswick, if you're only selling to Atlantic, you are limiting yourself, and you're limiting yourself to an economy that is going to it's taking some hits from COVID. That's just the way it is, especially since you pointed out the majority of women entrepreneurs are in food and beverage, service, and hospitality.
Yep.
Those are literally the three biggest industries taking the biggest hit
Yes.
across the board, across the planet. So if there's a way, and people think, oh, well, I don't sell a product, I do a service. Well, you can still export that. That's still an exportable thing.
Yes, that's
because
correct.
if you're an expert in something and you can consult in something and you can deliver something virtually, programming, whatever it is, you could design online courses, do memberships. Like there's tons of different ways that you can export your service. So don't think just because you're someone that doesn't sell a product that you can't export. So I really encourage everyone to think about that, explore it, have some conversations, invest the time, because it could really have a great return on investment for you and your business. If at the end you decide not to do it, well, all you've done is educate yourself a little bit, and maybe in 6 months you want to do it, or maybe in 6 years you want to do it. At least you've taken the time to explore it. But I really, really, really want to encourage people that from the economic data that we're seeing in general, it's now is the time to try to diversify. There's only an upside to it, and there's resources out there galore to kind of help you do that. So please, 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 especially now that a lot of stuff is free.
Yes, exactly. I was just going to say March 18 and March 19. So there's a training, get ready to export. So learning what goes into an export strategy and how to start creating yours. So it's free.
Yes.
And even if you're thinking in 5 years that you want to export, like you have nothing to lose by attending it. Like there's no cost to it.
A lot of us now are stuck at home, right?
Yes,
Like, or very
exactly.
close to home. So at the end of the day, you have the time now. If there was ever a time, like, you know what I mean? Once we finally get to the end of this, vaccine train and can go out and stuff, your time is everybody's going to go crazy and want to just be outside and run around. So
travel.
At least I do.
Yes.
I'll just be like, just all hours of the day. But, so now's the time, take that. Like you said, even if you don't think you want to do it for a number of years, that's totally fine. But you could get tons of great quality info now that you can use later. To bring your products or services to another market. And I just can't stress that enough. I really can't stress that enough. I was floored, because same thing at RBC, we have a Go Global platform for people to explore other markets and things like that. So for our clients. So it was shocking when we did like the, education and training piece of how few Canadian companies export. And like I said, of that tiny, tiny piece, most of them only look at the US. They don't look outside of North America. So there's a whole wide world out there. There's a lot of people who want your product and service. And there's lots of ways to get, especially e-commerce now, like you said, building websites. People can do e-commerce, and you could just be shipping stuff from your living room in Moncton to plenty of places overseas, right? And you can have it all look beautiful and professional, and you're not limiting yourself to same thing. If it's farmers markets or whatever it is you're normally doing, that right now we can't even do those things. Well, there's other ways to kind of get to those people. There are people trying to buy local as well, and there's going to be a focus as well. You'll see even just on Canadian products, right? Like as we keep going, people are going to focus not just on, okay, I want to buy things locally, but they're also going to say, okay, instead of getting this from Amazon, is there someone in Canada? So they may not have that product in Moncton, but there could be somebody in Vancouver selling it, or there could be somebody, in Edmonton. But again, you need to be online for us to find that thing, and people are willing to pay a little bit more for it. So keep that in mind. So those things as well. Your market might grow from New Brunswick to Atlantic to Canada, really. But you need to be in that space to play. And I really the whole export piece, again, stats show if you export, you're a more profitable business than ones that don't, yet so few do. So it's kind of like a bit of an oxymoron, but
Yeah,
sorry, I
a
went on a little bit of
smaller,
a tangent there, but
but even a smaller piece of the pie are women that export.
yes, exactly,
So
exactly.
there's a lot of there's programs that exist. So that's why you were talking about buying in Canada. There's a program that's called Supplier Diversity, where you have big organization that the ones that do participate, let's say the city of Toronto, well, when they look at supplying certain products or services, they go through a list of women-owned business, and
Yes.
you have to be part of that supplier diversity program.
Mm-hmm.
And but they will only pick women owned business. So
Yes.
there's a lot of programs that exist, and I think if any of you have any questions, reach out to us. Like I mentioned, our website is womeninbusinessnb.ca, and you have access to all of our trainings, upcoming trainings, programs, information, and how to reach us. So depending on if you're a startup, you would probably reach out to Jenna, which is our development officer for startup. If you are looking to grow your business, it would be Audrey. If it's export, it would be Claire. If you're an Indigenous women entrepreneurs, it would be Natasha. So we have a full team that are here to help you and especially guide you through the entrepreneurial ecosystem, because it can be really confusing. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many organizations, but I think what's important to remember is that you shouldn't be scared to reach out, because there's a lot of organization. And I think whether it's the 3+ that's in Moncton, or your local chamber of commerce, there's always people there to help you.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's a great point, is that, you know what, at the end of the day, if it's something you guys can't help with, I'm sure you have a partner that you
Yes.
can refer them to that will be able to kind of get them on their way. But I think Women in Business New Brunswick is a great place to start. I think that if you're a woman entrepreneur,
Yes.
I think you should start. I do. I think you should just start there, because you guys cover so many
Yes.
things that
Yeah,
rather than chasing all this, there's like
absolutely.
you said, there's so many partners, there's so many programs, there's so much everything happening. Like,
Hmm.
find your one go-to and
Exactly.
kind of work from there, because you guys are kind of the epicenter. You have your, hands in all these different areas, and so people should use you guys as their main partner, in kind of leveraging all these products and programs and services, because you guys are right in the mix. So rather than somebody having to chase down 10 different things, go right to
Exactly.
you guys, and you guys can either, you guys are doing it, or you can point them
Hmm.
in the right direction right away. So it's going to, save some frustration as well. I'm super pumped that the programs right now are free. So again, everybody get out there, sign up.
Yes,
That's
yes,
very
exactly.
exciting. It's very, very exciting. I know you guys, in addition to your website, you're also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
because people can find you there as well, for posts about programs. Obviously, the quickest and easiest is the website, because it has the whole laundry list. But feel free to follow them on those social platforms, so you can kind of keep in the update mix. Is there
Mhm.
anything else that you wanted to talk about or say before we kind of wrap
No,
up?
I think you just covered it. I think the one thing to remember is follow us on our social media, because we do have, like I was mentioning, sometimes we have programs and we have a small window of opportunity to apply, and it's first come first serve. So for example, the website, we had room for 12 and we took 13, because we kind of we tried our
They squeezed
best.
in, yeah.
Yes, we squeezed one more. We said, like, we're really passionate and we really want to help everybody. So we squeezed one more, um and it was just a window of opportunity. People had 2 weeks to apply. We got those funds. We
Wow,
said we
yeah.
need to pivot. Like, let's put these funds towards this. This is how much we have. We went for our RFP. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, 2 weeks. People had 2 weeks to apply, and then it was done.
Yeah, I think that's an important
So
point to make, is that a lot of things are funding contingent. And if suddenly you guys get a sudden unexpected approval to do something, the turnaround time can be tight. So that is a good point to keep an eye on social for that, because there's not going to be 6 months or even 1 month of lead time necessarily. Like you said with
no.
that one, it was 2 week turnaround. So
Yes.
keep an eye out, because there could be last minute stuff that gets funded unexpectedly. And if that's the case, then, you got to be first in line.
Yes. Or even if we know your needs, if we have a good
Oh, that's good
relationship
too.
with you as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, we know, oh, well, Amanda, I remember she was during the needs assessment, she was mentioning that she really needed this or that. And she could be a
Mm,
great match with this peer-to-peer mentoring program that we're going to do with Africa, because she mentioned that at some point she wanted to, like,
mm-hmm.
so all the development officers know their clients very well. So uh, if we
So
hear
yeah,
from
reach
you,
out
and
and have that conversation so
exactly,
that
yeah,
people know what you're looking for. Because, like you said, if it's not right now, they'll know and be able to reach out when that kind of programming does come up. So that's pretty cool too.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So I'm very excited. I'm super thrilled that you were
Oh,
here. It was an honor. Thank you so much. Like, I was
oh, well,
very excited about all the stuff you shared. I think we should totally have you come back in a few months, because I know, like you said, that wasn't even that was kind of your you know
I was like, what can I
uh
say tonight? There's a
yeah.
lot.
So we'll figure out a time that, you know what I mean, when you'd like to come back and kind of give us some insights and fill us in again. And I do think that's good, reminder, and give people a good idea. And I'm very
Absolutely.
excited. I hope this reaches a ton of people and that they take advantage of the amazing programming you guys have to offer, and your amazing development officers that really specialize in those segments and can really help people get there. Now is a great time. So I know we're all going through a weird, hard time right now, but in terms of
I
a
agree.
business, this could be a great opportunity to grow your business to a whole other level, or even places you didn't even think of. All you got to do is reach out and talk to some experts, and they'll help you put the pieces together. You're not by yourself. We can feel really isolated in this, but you're not
Yes.
alone. There's tons of help. We are here. Utilize the resources, and thank you again. This was very cool. I'm very excited about how this conversation went, and I'll be excited to hear from you again. I'll try to snag you again at some point
Absolutely.
to come
Yes.
back.
I
And
would love to come back.
awesome. Well, there you go. Everybody heard it here. So you're committed now.
Yeah, yeah. But we also have, like I was mentioning, if you're looking to talk for startups, for example, we could invite Jenna, or
Oh, right.
if
Yes.
it's
Yeah. We could bring
export.
on the
So
different. So anybody
absolutely.
watching, feel free to comment in here. Is there a specific area, whether it's startup, growth, export, or Indigenous, that you would like us to have that development officer come on for? We will absolutely look to hook something up with them and have them come on for a conversation and kind of give a kind of a deeper dive into what they do. So by all means, guys, let us know what you want to hear. That's what this whole conversation series is about. So feel free to voice your opinion on what you'd like to see, and we'll definitely make it happen. So thank you, Katherine. I appreciate your time. It was great to see your presentation, and I'm very, very excited about a lot of businesses are going to do a lot better, and some incredible things are going to come out of this. I can feel it.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.